Hi, this is Angela with Today's Cup of Tea. So much going on. We have so much going on, and my understanding is we're really at the forefront of all this, and things are really picking up speed now. Last week we went through something, and I'm still not clear as to everything that has been going on, but we had some shifting going on. I was away in Cozumel, Mexico, getting my scuba certification, and something I've always wanted to do. And all this stuff happened while I was down there. That nothing really bad that would be considered bad, but it was just very different. And I came back to find out that a lot of people I know had the same thing no matter where they were. So the lesson in all of this, that's something that I've been shown again and again. It's something that I have been told is of greater and greater importance as we go along, is being fluid and fluidity to all this change. So, what's funny is that, so I did the scuba diving thing last week, and what a beautiful, wonderful world it is at those reefs. I mean, absolutely amazing and gorgeous, and a spectrum of colors, and the peace of being down there. But what was really interesting was a situation that happened. So the first couple of days, now this is somebody who meditates all the time, is actually, I'm pretty calm and laid back about most things these days. But what happens is you go through this class, they teach you all the things that could go wrong, how to deal with things, and it's so that you know what to deal with things that go wrong, if you're diving and something goes wrong, blah, 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 and the things that you need to know about and all that kind of stuff. So what happens is you spend this whole time in class, and your mind has to get engaged. Obviously the ego and the mind get engaged. All these things you have to retain. So the first day in the water wasn't so bad because we did a shore dive. It was only about 15 feet. Okay, so that was all right. The second day was a little bit of a shocker, and the ego wanted to kick in, because then we're dropping down to 60, 70 feet right off the bat. And I couldn't even enjoy myself the first part of the first dive, because all I could hear is, oh my God, are you breathing? Is everything attached? Check this. Is your buoyancy good? Are you going to run into a reef? Don't run into the reef. Don't run into the fish. And don't run into somebody else. And you have all this stuff going on in your mind, right? And this is me, somebody who's doing this work all the time, and I'm meditating all the time, and I'm all about, being clear and peaceful and serene. But I had the mind going. So finally, I got to a point where it was like, okay, you got it under control. Look, we did a dive, and it was about the second dive that it was like, okay, look, we're on the second dive. You did okay the first dive. Okay, now take a deep breath. Look at your air. Your air is fine. You're with your group. So I did that. And then I was able to start enjoying it and realizing what beauty was going on in there. Now, so what's part of the lesson in this? I think it was the third day, we went to a reef called Tormentos, which was very aptly named. It is a reef. It's beautiful, 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 and it's got tons and tons of sea life. It's on a wall. There's a drop off, but there's always a swift current that tends to pass through them by the nature of the geography there. So this was the first swift current that I had really encountered. So we get down there, and we have a group of people, and I'm trying to look at everything passing by, and there's amazing sea turtles and jewel parrotfish and grouper and just a bazillion different kinds of colors of fish and everything else. It was really cool. But what's happening is I'm in this current, and we're moving pretty fast, and there's a part of me going, oh, what if we lose control? What if we lose control? What if we go down to the abyss? What if we lose our air? What if we lose our group? What if we run into somebody? What if we run into the reef? What if we run into this? And what if we get stuck? What if we get hurt? Wow, where does that come from, right? That's this ego script that runs over and over and over and over again. Forget about all the classroom stuff that I did, and the entire month of classes that I did, and the other dives that I've done, and all the time I spent in the confined stuff. But what happened was there was a point I guess there was like a break point. There was a break point where my higher self stepped in and said, okay, are you done yet? Are you done with this? Because you're missing out on the fun, So it was like, stop. You stop breathing so heavily. Stop breathing so shallowly. You're going to use all your air. Relax. So I did that. I slowed down my breathing. I relaxed into the current. And once I did that, I realized, wait, everybody else is sort of doing the same thing. We're all floating around pretty much in the same kind of fashion. All right, so yeah, right? And when I saw a rock wall coming up and the reef to go over, that I was, instead of fighting it or panicking and trying to fight the current, I would just sort of go with it. And I found how much easier it was for my body to just adjust with the current and go past that. So, it's a big lesson, a very physical lesson in fluidity, and something, like I said, I've been shown and told, in my meditation and guided, that fluidity is the key in moving forward, in just being fluid. So I have changed much of the way I look at things, on how things affect me. Right away, the ego wants to resist. The ego wants to stop if it doesn't agree with something, if it's not comfortable with something, and it says, "Whoa, wait, I want to think about this. I want to stop everything around us." When you do that, you're creating resistance. That's like trying to swim against the current, right? And I tried doing that a couple of times when I was diving, and you go nowhere. In fact, if it's a swift current like it was in that one day, you sort of go backwards, and it doesn't matter, and you waste air, and you waste your energy, you expend your energy, and then you get tired, which you're trying to avoid doing anyway. So it's the same thing mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. If we allow things to flow through us, if we allow things to happen, and the ego is trying to put up a wall, stop it, put up a blockade, many times what that does is it just wastes our energy. And the easiest way that I've been shown, and I've experienced it now in many ways, I had other stuff going on down there that was very challenging for me on a mental and spiritual level last week, and like 5 different levels of it, and it put me in a really weird place. Probably from midweek last week all the way into midweek this week. It was just pretty much yesterday I started coming out of it, but I knew, I trusted this was all for the highest and best. I knew it was all for the highest and best. I cleared stuff as I went, as things came up, because things came up that were trying to put in obstacles and resistance, and I said, okay, well, let's be fluid to this. That's all I kept on hearing, is stay fluid. And so I did. Might not like it, but if I stay fluid to it, and I allow things like anger or sadness or fear, anxiety come up, as long as I don't feed it or deny it, because if you deny it, you feed it too. And when you feed it, you grow it and you make it worse. And then eventually it will just totally stop you and totally get everything like really crazy and, tumbling down around you. So if you stay fluid and allow things to process, I stepped back and I became the observer. I didn't feed it with emotion. I knew stuff came up, and when it came up, I was looking at it going, well, what is it I need to look at? Or, I'm not ready to look at this yet. I will look at it when I'm ready. And I know that I'm being taken care of. I know that I'm supported. And I might not like this right now, but I know and I trust. That is what we're working to get to. That is true fluidity. And what happens is, it's almost like the filter of a fish tank. I talk about that a lot. When you clean out the bottom of a fish tank and you get all this gunk in the water, even though you clean out the fish tank, a lot of times, right, like for the first half hour, the water is like murky because you'd pulled up the stuff. Well, guess what? Then the filter has to pull that stuff through it to clear out the water. That's pretty much what fluidity is about. And with all this chaos going on and things getting more and more crazy as we go, and my understanding, like I said, is this is just the onset of it. That if we stay fluid to this kind of energy, and we stay fluid to all the stuff that's changing around us at breakneck speed, again, then we have a better experience in traversing it. That in the long run, it passes through us in a much quicker fashion. So I now have it sort of set up that I only allow things to affect me or assimilate with me if they are for my highest and best, most positive good, without trauma, drama, or illness, with grace and ease and malice, harmony, and joy. Now, I've talked about how grace and ease and all that kind of stuff is relative in many respects, because there's these options of this is grace and ease versus this other situation. But if we stay fluid to it, even if we don't like it, if the ego is uncomfortable with it, but we just step back and allow ourselves to observe and adjust our sails accordingly. I adjusted my week accordingly. I didn't allow it to affect my relationships with others or my sessions with people or my work. Eventually what happens is the water starts clearing up. And all that the gunk that doesn't serve me just goes away because I'm not allowing it to assimilate into me because it's not serving me. When that goes away and that flows through in a fluid manner, then I can say, okay, now I can look at the core of this. And it's a lot easier to assimilate. It's a lot easier to grasp onto something and assimilate it into yourself, and it's not quite so overwhelming because you don't have all that other stuff that does not serve you in the highest and best way. So that's food for thought. And we all have a lot of stuff going on in our lives, especially right now. There's so much that's falling away that doesn't serve us anymore, and it might feel painful, it might feel scary, and the ego's throwing up all this stuff. So the key is to learn fluidity. The key is to learn to do the best you can, to adjust with the current, to adjust your sails, to just sort of be able to traverse those rocks, and know that I am trusting that this stuff that doesn't serve me, that could hurt me or whatever, is going to just flow away, and so I'm not going to give it any energy. And it takes practice, and I know you're going to say, well, it sounds easy, but yes, you're right. It does. It sounds easy, and it's not quite so easy. It's taken me, like I said, 6 to 12 months to even get to the place where I was able to do what I did, have an awesome time, and still allow this stuff to work through. So on that, we're going to do our clearing. And so would you like everything to follow without trauma, drama, or illness, without creating or recreating any negative situations for illustration or experience, and all with ease, grace, balance, harmony, joy, fun, excitement, adventure, humor, bliss, and love? Would you like it for all versions of you, all times, all places, into the ever-expanding universe, to infinity and beyond? Would you like to receive all information requested in this clearing via instantaneous and comprehensive download with fully conscious understanding in the moment, version, and timeline from which it is requested? Would you like all of Creator's truths and understandings, perceptions, perspectives, discernments, and definitions that come through from this clearing and healing? Would you like them to become your own, replace your own, for divine alignment? And would you like to offer all of this clearing and healings to the higher selves of all your ancestors and descendants, their version, if they so choose to accept? On that, would you like to dissolve, resolve, clear, and release all etheric binding agreements that require you to believe that the only catalyst for change is resistance, that or stopping or putting up an obstacle, that the only way to perceive and understand a change in direction is by having resistance? I'm understanding that this is really important clearing to do, that has to do with fluidity. And would you like to get Creator's truth as to the truth of that, the perception versus the truth, how it served you to have these agreements, how it'll serve you to be without them, to thank all parties involved, to open the doors to apology and forgiveness to and from all parties involved, to download knowledge, understanding, and feelings of apology and forgiveness to and from all parties involved, to pull out related beliefs that come from this, including I'm afraid of change, I can be hurt by change, I can be hurt if I stay fluid, I can be hurt if I don't resist, and anything related to that, to pull all related pull all related anxieties, fears, regrets, rejections, resentments, anger, guilt, and also pull the memory and energy of that from the cellular level, pull the related self-limiting thoughts, words, and actions from the cellular level, transform the Creator's light, send them back to Creator, and close those receptors, open new ones, and saturate the cells in between the cells with the highest vibration of Creator's unconditional love, and download the beliefs, I can stay fluid in my life as changes happen no matter what. I know how it is for my highest and best. I trust it is for my highest and best to stay fluid to all situations. Versus resistance. And get Creator's teachings on how to do that. Creator's teachings on how to be fluid, on how to stay fluid, on how to release that which doesn't serve you with fluidity and allow it to flow through you without affecting you in any way. To get all those teachings and to the feelings and knowledge of how to do that. And to know that you're worthy, deserving, and able to, that it's possible, that okay, and safe to, that you're ready, willing, and able to, and you have that in your life right now. And then would you like to write off as completing the Akashic records and heal, resolve, and clear the timelines in all directions to infinity with the violet and platinum flames? So if you want that, clear your mind, be open to receive, take a deep breath, and say yes, fluidity. And that's it. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you later in the week. This is Angela. Today's a Cup of Tea.